Rich, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm excited, man. How you doing today?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. It's another great day with another great episode on the way, man.
On the way.
You see how I did that?
I
rhyme?
like that.
Yeah, man. You know I got. I
learned how to rap.
Oh, you learning how to rap?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to say something. We done put you on the spot now. Let's hear it.
That hot butterscotch.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hey, first comment. Tell him to shut it up. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, look, man, I got my 404 hat on, man, from 404 Day, man, and it's official, man. New era.
That had as much soul as Bob Rathbun right there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to feel the heat when I put my meat out on the street. And you can't beat that beat in that light sticker.
Hey, man, he's got more rhymes than you,
Hey,
Rich.
man, he got me, man.
Hey, look, man, I know y'all hear the voice, y'all see the face, man. For those from the city of Atlanta or who are really heavy into Atlanta sports, you may know who this man is. For those of you who don't know, you will be introduced today to one of the greats in the city. One of the people.
Stop it.
Oh, no, yeah, that's right. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Now, so we had one half of his wonderful #1 sports talk radio show in Atlanta.
#1, baby.
Was on the show last year. Now we have the other half. I want y'all to give it up for none other than Mike Bell. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Hey, man. So you had Dukes in, and now you got the creamy white filling at Dukes and Bell.
say Dukes filled up the Oreo part. Now
That's
the
right.
white filling comes
That's
in.
my boy, man. He ain't heavy. He my brother.
Man, hey, look, tell me this. How did you get linked up with Dukes? Did you guys know each other before the show?
Carl and I, we told the story a million times, but I'll tell you guys 1,000,001.
Do it.
We, in radio, you go to like Final Fours and Super Bowls and big boxing matches. It's kind of like a radio convention, and you'll see other dudes and you meet people in the business. And Carl and I, we kind of first really became friends in 2021 or 2022. It was at Super Bowl when the Patriots with Brady won their first one with the Rams.
Oh, you mean 2002?
Yeah, we were down in New Orleans. Yeah, 2002. And Carl was doing a show he was in Houston, and I was doing 790, and we just hit it off and just, hey, let's go get some drinks. And so we actually knew each other for almost like 15, 20 years before we finally got together.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's a great dude, and we've kept telling my agent, I said, Carl, man, if we ever get me and Carl together, we'll be #1. And our old agent, rest his soul, said, just because you guys laugh at the same jokes, who knows if the show will be any good?
Yeah.
If you ever met our agent, you'd say it sounds just like him.
Well, what's his name?
Norm Schrott. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, he reps a bunch of guys in town, Ryan Cameron, and a bunch of dudes from back in the day all over the country. But anywho, we finally get together, and we just knew it was going to be a blast. And it's just so, I hope it comes off on the radio. It's just so easy when you're working with one of your best friends, and it's just, it's just fun. And when we actually get into a real argument, we fight, people freak out.
Yeah.
Because we keep it real. We don't make up like, what are we going to argue about today? We don't do that.
Nah, that's how me and Trey are.
So when we do get going, people are like, oh no, Mike and Carl are fighting.
They feel like two parents up there arguing.
Exactly.
Man, I always wonder how the two of you linked up, because to be honest, the chemistry was like, it felt instant. I know before Carl was on with I want to say Cordell Stewart for some time, and then of course you over at the other station.
Yep.
And then once you kind of took that time off, and once you came over to 92.9, it felt like it was instant.
Yeah, because Carl, he started the station. He was one of the founding, fathers of 92.9. So he was the bedrock in Afternoon Drive. And then it was like, man, my boy, I've always wanted to work with, and now we're opposite each other. And 790 was kind of going down the drain at the end. And I was like, man, when they finally closed the doors on that thing, and I had a contract, and I was like, my wife's like, what are we going to do? I said, well, we'll get some offers. And at first it was like, maybe go to Minneapolis. I was like, I'm not moving to Minneapolis. I'm like, I do like hockey, but I'm at Minneapolis. And then in a second, we were talking to San Francisco, and I was like, that's too expensive. I'm like, oh, you relax. And then at the same time, hats off to Rick Caffey. He's the big boss of V103 and WAOK, Star 94, our big boss. And Rick was trying to put things together behind the scenes, and they had to sort of move some pieces around. And then finally, me and Carl got together in the summer of 2014.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Us in the city of Atlanta are lucky that it happened.
Yeah, man. Like I said, hopefully it comes out on the radio. We're just having so much fun, and it's a blast. All we got to do is have our teams win more. It'd be perfect.
100%.
Man, I'm in awe, man, just hearing his voice. And he's like was the same when remember Carl came?
Yeah.
And you was like, damn, it's Carl Dukes.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the same way, man. I've been listening to you, man, when you was on the morning show with Bo and Steak.
So, hey, man, if I'm the Waterboyz, let me maintain some street cred. Hey,
All
man.
right, then.
Oh, man,
What's up with that? Yeah, we were just joking around before the show, before we taped, saying, is it douchey to be a middle-aged guy wearing blenders?
Nah, man.
And the answer, I think, is yes. We put this on social media.
Nah, them bad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I love Coach Prime, and I don't know. The vibe on this has been generally, middle-aged white guy don't fly.
You know what? Look right into that camera. Ask the people. And I'll make a video where you asking that.
Is this too douchey for a guy my age to be wearing, or is it okay?
Hey,
you decide.
Hey, Doug, what you think, man?
Yeah, he was. Now you see that he was like, yeah, that's a no. That's like asking your mom. Yeah, that's like, hey, Mom, can I get a toy? We'll see. That's a hell no. I wasn't feeling that.
Say those the Coach Primes.
Nope, that's a fail.
Yeah, well, I want to ask you a question. Like, you've been doing this for a long time. What was your favorite interview? Person that you interviewed?
Wow, man, we've done so many.
Gotta pick one.
Yeah, I mean, because the cool thing about this town is with Turner and all the access we get to people, not just sports, but get access to people outside of sports, the entertainment business. And some of these actors we've had in have just been mind blowing. I'll give you one. It'll be kind of who, really, that guy, John Voight. You know who John Voight is?
Yeah.
So John Voight, amongst other things, was in The Champ. He was in a million. I mean, there's a million movies he's been in. He's Angelina Jolie's
John
dad,
says Angelina
amongst
Jolie's
other things.
dad, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
But he was promoting some movie for Turner, and he was in the movie Heat, which is one of my favorite, me and Carl's favorite movies. And he plays the fence that works with De Niro.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that's like putting everything together behind the scenes. And I said to him, I go, in the movie, you kind of have like freckles and kind of sunburn. He goes, yeah, I wanted the character. He was in jail, and when he got out of jail, he went down to the beach. He got too much sun. I'm like, oh, you're really overthinking this part. But anyway, but that's why if you watch Heat, he looks the way he does. Yeah. But we did like an hour with him, and he was cool as hell. Mike Tyson never disappoints. He's one of my favorites.
Oh man, how was the interview with Mike
Tyson? It was the best because I mean, we can't cuss on this.
No,
yeah, you can.
No,
Go ahead.
because we had to use I think the record. It was David Pollock and I interviewed Tyson in Vegas. We were out there for I think it was a Canelo fight, might have been the Mayweather fight.
Okay.
And he goes, yeah. So I was divorced from Robin Givens, and but we weren't divorced yet. So I thought I could still have sex with her. So and I didn't say that. He used the F word.
Yeah.
He goes, so I'll go back to the house because she was in my house, and I roll up and she's making out with this skinny guy. He jumps out the window, rolls over the bushes. Turns out it was Brad Pitt.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean Tyson's told this story subsequently, but we're laughing our butts off.
Oh,
and he's
wow!
And he kept dropping F-bombs after F-bombs, and the producer's in my ear. Tell Mike if he says one more cuss, we're gonna have to stop the interview because there's only so many times you could hit the delay button.
Hey, I didn't know that.
No, but Tyson.
Shout out to Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Tyson was great. I mean, what's really cool? Carl and I had Earl Campbell in studio.
Oh,
and
wow.
Earl, because that's an old era of football that just doesn't exist today.
Yeah.
And just a man's man and just a dude. Joe Namath was still one of my favorites. We had, there's just so many cool people.
Joe Namath,
Snoop never disappoints. We just had Ice Cube in studio, I think it was a couple months ago.
Okay.
And he's always great. I always tell him, I said, you should get the Oscar for being the first black man to not be the first guy killed in a sci-fi movie.
Wow.
And he goes, you're right about that.
Well, which movie to my? Was it Anaconda?
Anaconda.
Yeah.
There was, I think, the Mars movie he was in.
Yeah.
So he's just a good dude.
So let me ask you, speaking of interviewing Joe Namath, because you are from New Jersey way, right?
New York, yeah, Brooklyn,
up that
Brooklyn
way,
by way of Long Island, from the mean streets of Wantagh.
Yeah, and so were you a fan of his at that time? Were you any kind of fan of the Jets?
We grew up Giants fans. My mom was the Jets fan because Joe Namath was just so sexy. All the ladies loved Joe Namath. Yeah. She once stole a Joe Namath cardboard cutout from Macy's.
All right, then.
By Fabergé.
Go mom.
So we had a chance, and so Joe was actually on another interview on a station, and I got a chance. I said, Joe, would you mind just for 2 seconds saying hi to my mom?
Oh, wow.
He goes, what's your mom's name? He goes, it's Jane. And I go, Ma, it's Joe Namath. No, it's not. Put him on the phone. Hey, Jane, it's Joe Namath. Ah! And then talk to him for about a minute and a half. Just and
awesome.
You're just so cool like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know for you guys, but when you meet people, and it's so cool when they don't disappoint. When you meet a celebrity or somebody you've always dug, and it's like, oh, that guy's Joe Namath is cool as a fan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, my favorite running back, my idol was William Andrews.
Oh,
and
right.
I met him, man. It was the worst. He
Really?
chumped me off.
Bad
I was
mood?
with my
Is he in
daughter,
bad
man.
mood?
He was just didn't even. Hey, man, I was with my daughter. Had on. Hey, that's William Andrews. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Like, damn. I spent my whole middle school, high school liking this dude, and he just chumped me off.
Hey man, he may have just been cursed out by his wife. Maybe just had something. You never know what was going on.
So
I
got disappointed, man.
But then you always got to think you catch him on a bad day.
Yeah.
Because
There
I'll
you
be
go.
honest with you, one of my idols is Joe Montana.
Okay.
And my dad went to Notre Dame and he loved Joe Montana. I broke my dad's heart by going to Florida State, and then lasting a semester. But we had Joe Montana on, and he's just kind of like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's almost like, wow. I'm like, wow. No wonder we only lasted like 6 weeks on NBC. You guys are too young to remember. But yeah, Joe's not exactly the greatest conversationalist. You really got to warm him up.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, Florida State, who was playing on football?
It was Coach Prime. Yeah, it was Coach Prime. I was there in
Prime was
'86.
there?
Neon, man.
Awesome.
That was a time.
You got a chance to see him go in '88 to the Falcons and all that.
All that.
Man, I just remember they had the all the prospects up.
Right.
And they was talking about we may get Barry Sanders or this or that's like, man, I want Deion. I remember when Deion played Clemson, he had predicted he was gonna run a touchdown that week. And when I saw that, I was like, that's what Atlanta needs. We need a guy like that. And when we got him, that was the first pick that I wanted us to get, and we got. I think it was number 4 or 5. I can't remember what he was.
Crow and I just had Jerry Glanville on last week.
Okay.
404 day. And, granted, they didn't win anything. They did win one playoff game against the Saints, got beat by the Redskins then. But that was the first time Atlanta kind of got sexy for football, put on the map. Because Deion and the whole black uniforms and all, having MC Hammer and all that, it kind of made,
too legit to quit. The too legit to
quit
era.
And then the Dome back in the day.
I remember that game, that's the interception where we near the end of the game and Joe Fishback.
And they just kept pitching it and pitching it. And never just said, fall down.
Yeah, they played it at the Saints, man. At the Saints, man.
Got that win, huh?
Won.
Yeah.
Wild card division, yeah.
Man, how was the aura around Deion Sanders back in college? Like, how was the aura?
the man?
Well, all I remember is, it's so funny now with name, image, likeness. The big thing was, man, Deion, he's got a gold Chrysler LeBaron.
Yeah, a Chrysler LeBaron.
Convertible.
Yeah, wow.
I remember that. I think, now, it might have been a different brand, but the way I remember it, just through the fog of going back, 30 some odd years. But yeah, Deion had the gold Chrysler
Man,
LeBaron.
I can imagine, but Deion with the gold rings and the necklace and the Jerry curl.
Right.
Man, I bet that was a sight to see.
But that's the thing for Falcons. Hopefully it'll be cool with Penix and we'll get rolling. But we get moments in time, like when Vic came and how cool that was, because that was just so un-Atlanta that we were actually going to move up to number 1 and get Mike Vick.
Yeah.
And that was like, it was like mind blowing. Just when it was just so hot and so hyped.
Speaking of Penix, I was listening to your show one day. And I kind of felt how you felt. He's like, why would we draft Kirk Cousins when we could have used that money for some defense? And I've been singing the same thing.
Right.
So talk about that.
Hey, man, and it's funny because to me, like the whole city is like, no, it's good. We got 2 quarterbacks. I'm like, it's like the whole city's been gaslit inside 285 because outside of Atlanta, everybody's like, this is the stupidest thing anybody's ever done. Yeah. And the thing is, initially, I thought it was Arthur Blank. I thought Arthur Blank said, let's not have this quarterback, show we had the last few years. Let's make sure. And then we found out from D. Orlando Ledbetter from the AJC, that it was basically the way he reports it. So take it from D-Led, is that, the coach Ra wanted Cousins because he knew him from his time in Washington back in the day with the Shanahans.
Okay.
And then Fontenot literally fell in love with Penix. And I'm like, well, then you got to talk Ra off the ledge and spend that money on, all right, if you couldn't get, some of the elite pass rushers, go get Grenard, go get some edge. Let's get some money in here for the defense.
That's how I feel.
And just, if you trust Penix, then go get him. Because where we were, the Giants weren't going to get him. The only team that might have been interested in Penix was the Raiders. So you only would have to maybe move up a few spots. So just whatever you want, go get Penix, make him your man. You might have played the game, hey, we like Bo Nix or whatever. So people always get locked in like, well, no, once we had Cousins, we could have gotten Penix easily. It's not that complicated. And to me, it's a big mistake. Like, I'm behind Penix 100%. Cousins, I was really cool with Cousins until he became this, whatever this is.
He went from
He's a
sugar
fraud.
to shit
He's like a
that,
fraud.
Bro.
To me, it's like, hey, man, I'm not hurt. I'm fine. And now it's the Super Bowl.
And then all of a sudden, I'm hurt.
Then he makes the rounds at the Super Bowl, and it's like, oh, no, I was banged up. And then
he shouldn't have did D-Led like that.
Can we do this on camera?
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, it's like he's a phony baloney, man. I believed in him. Now
speaking of that, so by the time this comes out, this will be old news. But as of today, what I'm talking about will be old. But as of today, I saw that the Browns have signed Joe Flacco again. Yeah. They brought him back. So with a lot of people anticipating Kirk Cousins potentially going to Cleveland, what do you potentially foresee with Kirk Cousins and the Falcons moving forward?
Now, they've always maintained that they were going to have him on the roster. I don't think you can have him on the roster. We spoke to Ovi Mahaley. We have B-Mac, Brian McFadden on all the time. They said there'll be some guys in that locker room that'll be like, dude, I can't roll with this guy. Now, granted, in 2025, there could be some guys who go, hey, that's just Kurt. Kirk, that's how he handles his money. That's his business, whatever. But I think they cut him. I think unless Aaron Rodgers retires, you may have some leverage with the Steelers. But the only juice we had was maybe playing Cleveland off of Pittsburgh. And if they go back with Flacco, then that story is out. So Carl's maintained we would have him through the summer and hope that maybe somebody comes to us pre-camp, and then maybe we can dump him, and we'll have to eat like, almost all of that $25 million, and maybe we can buy a pick for 2026. That's the best case scenario. I still think they'll cut him. I think that's a weird vibe because you don't want Penix having somebody over his shoulder. You want to make this the Penix show, and go sign some other free agent and get rid of Kirk Cousins. Because right as we said, that's a pipe dream now. We got no leverage.
So one thing I want to ask you: how long you been in Atlanta?
Got here in '98, man. Steak Shapiro hired me in the summer of '98.
Okay, so are you all right? You was a Giants fan, correct?
Yep, we grew up everywhere I've lived. My thing is, and Arthur Blank has always appreciated this for me and Carl. We don't sit in the press box. We're not one of those like lamos who just eat the free hot dogs.
You get seats.
I'm a fan. So I put my money where my mouth is. I'm 342 at the Dome. My father, we had season tickets going back to the 50s. When I lived in South Florida, I had Dolphins tickets. I had season tickets for the Dolphins. So I want to be at the game and be a fan. So 98.
Falcons, Giants.
No, I'm Big Blue. You know, if
I like that.
If Big Blue is in the Super Bowl, yeah. But if it's Giants, Falcons, that ship has sailed. I'm so far removed from that. Not to mention, I got 4 championships in my lifetime. I'm not greedy. You know, if you told me when I was a kid when the Giants were shit, that my dad's like. I remember when I was a kid growing up, I was a Mets fan, and the Yankees were amazing. Reggie Jackson. Yeah. I'm like, Dad, we're at Shea Stadium, nobody there. It's like 2,000 people. I'm like, why are we Mets fans? The Mets suck. and my dad's always like got a Marlboro gun. He's like, anybody can be a Yankee fan. Being a Mets fan builds character. He goes, Yankee fans are rich assholes. The Mets, that's the working man's team. That's the blacks, the Spanish, the Jews. That's New York. Yeah. And it was so funny. And so I've always maintained that lovable loser mentality. So that's why I stick with the Falcons, because my dad said you got to put in that sort of instead of sweat equity, heartbreak equity. So you stay with the team and you don't give up on them.
Yeah.
So I'm all in for Falcons.
All right, that's what's up, man. I like to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you say you have a championship.
Right.
In 2016, for 3 quarters, I knew what it felt like to be a Super Bowl winner. I was at the game when we lost. The first person I talked to him, I talked to Trey.
He didn't really talk. He just cursed.
Right. I had to get vocal cord surgery. I lost my voice in that Super Bowl.
Wow.
I really did.
Were you there?
No, we came home. We did the broadcast. Carl and I came home.
Mike, when I tell you, like, it was like a family member died, I went to bed. It really affected me. Still does.
Well, you're 5 minutes away from changing the whole entire legacy of the city, because the Braves have had championships, and they did. The 21 was amazing. Georgia. Now I consider Metro Atlanta part of Georgia Bulldog Nation, and Georgia's got theirs. But it's like the Falcons. It just changes the trajectory of everything, because a Saints fan. And the Saints they're in the shitter right now. But I got good buddies down in New Orleans, and we go down there, and it's still look. At the end of the day, the ring is the thing.
Yeah.
And they got it. And so they talk it, but they got it. So I know. I got Julio's legacy, man. That toe tap catch, fall down 3 times, kick a field goal. We got it.
The greatest forgotten play in Super Bowl history.
And that would have been like when Julio goes in the Hall of Fame. That's one of those legacy moments for him.
Yeah. Well, for me to get over that, now our fans and our listeners have heard this, and I did it when we were on with Carl. But I actually put a rhyme together to help me get over.
All right, let's hear it.
That helped me get over. And it simply goes like this. All y'all know, if you love it, sing along. It goes, when the birds fly high and the ship set out to sea, there was a falcon flying high, winning 28-3. Running up and down the field, moving swift and moving fast.
Testify.
And for 3 whole quarters, Patriots fans knew we was all on their ass. Tom Brady was looking foolish. Bill Belichick was stuck. And every time the Falcons scored, we'd play Nuck If You Buck.
Hey.
We were drinking margaritas and my wife was blowing a kiss.
Hey.
And all I could think was, oh man, Mike, we about to finally win this shit. Then all of a sudden, everything went flat. It's like my Falcon got shot out the sky and went splat, splat, splat. And as they scored the winning touchdown, I couldn't even take no more. So I told everybody at our house for the Super Bowl party, get the hell out of my front door. I'm mad and I'm sick. And I can't take it, man.
No.
But that's exactly what happens when you decide to be a damn Falcons fan. So, man, I had
That's
to put
great. That's tight. That's tight.
I had to put that together to get over it.
That's it. No, man, that's tight.
That was like one of our first posts when you asked me how long we've been here. That went, it's like at 900,000 almost.
Oh, man, it's just, when we walked out of the Superdome, this is last January, and we remember they ran it up on us and they scored the touchdown, and I was like, I'm coming out. I got like we're talking about getting all these likes. I'm like, totally freaking unacceptable, and I'm cussing. You get the Superdome in the background.
That's what Arthur Smith wanted to fight.
I got my buddy who's a Saints fan, trustee, my boy down in New Orleans. He's laughing. I was like, it's just the heartbreak as a Falcon fan, but someday, and hopefully we get there. I don't know when.
Yeah.
But it's so hard because that's the thing. Nobody blows that lead. And look, Belichick being so petty, why do you think he puts that girlfriend of his and all that gear?
Every freaking year.
Because Arthur didn't give him the gig. He thought he was in like Flynn, and then basically everybody around Arthur goes, well, if we bring this guy in, we're all getting fired.
Yeah.
So we didn't get Belichick. I don't know.
Is that what happened? Do you think we should have gotten him?
I wasn't a fan. Who I wanted was Harbaugh, but that was kind of an impossibility.
Yeah, I heard you talk about Harbaugh.
Was so not in our mold. But and again, look, I always say with the Chargers, if you give him one more dollar than the Chargers, maybe he comes. But yeah, I just felt Belichick. One thing Belichick would not have done, we can definitely, I think, all agree, he would not have signed Cousins and then drafted Penix.
No,
it would have been one or the other.
Yeah,
and we get on with our lives. But
So tell me this: we've been seeing. At the Arthur Blank with the golf team, we saw Michael Vick there, and next to him, we saw Penix hanging out with Kyle Pitts. So what do you expect out of that relationship and that potential duo from Penix and Kyle Pitts?
Can Pitts... This is one of those things, whenever we go on the radio with this, it drives people crazy because you get like Pitts fans, and there's a lot of fans that they lock on the athletes. So and I'm like, look, I root for the logo on the helmet. I'm done with the single dudes at this point. Pitts was so good for out of the box with Ryan, and then couldn't stay healthy. And then it's just crazy because he has never lived up to that pick. He's got to maximize it. This is like, whether one way or the other, this is a contract year for him. Yes. Even if we don't re-sign him, or we could franchise tag him, that'd be a great problem to have if he goes for 1,000. But I always thought he's going to be the red zone weapon. 8 to 10 touchdowns. He's like 16th statistically. There's like 15 guys better than him at the tight end position. So hopefully him and Penix can create that mojo because that throw against the Commanders, that's what we need from him when he zips it in there. But again, remember the Giants game? Whoop, he does like the volleyball thing. Penix's first potato. That's Penix's first career pick in the NFL. It's on Pitts
in the end zone.
I don't know. Carl always says, does he love this game? Has he got a passion for it? I hope he does. He's not, it's not personal, it's business. He's a good dude. He's a family guy. But man, he's got to put it up there. He's got to make this thing happen. Do it. And the story now goes from what we've heard that this was an Arthur Smith pick. And if you're Fontenot, just say, no, I can't take a tight end 4th overall. We got so many things we needed back in 2021. So I'm not a fan. He's got to prove it to me this year.
And hearing this, it seems like Fontenot, and I could be wrong, but it's not seeming like Fontenot is able to really, or just hasn't really taken the reins and says, look, I'm going to be fired if this doesn't produce. Yes. So the meal is going to be cooked my way, or it's not going to be any meal at all. Get me out the kitchen if I can't cook the meal.
My thing is, and I say this all the time on the radio, it's like sometimes these things go down. You're like, well, where'd this decision come from? Like, for instance, Deshaun Watson. Remember in 21 we made the play for Deshaun Watson?
We had to get rid of Mike Ryan.
St. Patrick's Day weekend. Where'd that come from? Arthur Blank, I think. I think Arthur's like, I can have the baby without the labor pains. We can go from Matt Ryan to a former ball boy from Gainesville. Because that's our boy Deshaun.
Yeah,
we all love Deshaun. And obviously his life's gone sideways. It is what it is. But where'd it come from? Because we didn't have the money, and then you basically got to get rid of Matt Ryan for nothing. Yeah. 3rd round pick. So, but when you ask everybody in the organization, it's like, nobody, whose idea was it? So, I want to believe in Fontenot, but there's so many decisions that I'm just left.
He's on a hot seat.
What are you doing? Where's this coming from, man?
And I think this will be the season that it's 100% put up or shut up.
Make a break.
And if he didn't take the reins, or if he couldn't take the reins, it's terrible because you're in a position, like I said, get me out the kitchen if I can't cook the meal the way I want to cook it.
And look, I like Coach Ra. The players love Coach Ra. They buy into his stuff. He's just got to be better at the game day stuff, clock management, and just being consistent with his going for it on 4th down. It's funny because we went round and round with him about Cousins. I go, you going to bench him? You going to bench him? And he always said, I can't bench him in a 1-possession game against the Chargers. And that's kind of like where the season went south. And so, I don't know. Hopefully Ra learned from some of those lessons, and hopefully Fontenot too, man, because
I want to ask
you said it's make or break.
Yeah, I want to ask you about a player on the Falcons, and then we'll move on to the Hawks or something. Mike Trice, man, What's up?
Braylon Trice?
No, Braylon Trice.
Braylon Trice. Yeah, my set.
So we love this guy because the fans couldn't see him at camp this year because camp was closed because they've added. You'll be back this year up in Flowery Branch, but I loved his game, and he's a leader. He was a defensive captain for the Huskies.
Yeah,
Penix was offense, he was defense, and he looked great at camp. And I think he can be that guy. We always ask Orlando Ledbetter comes on. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, no, he's just a dude. He ain't that guy. But I think he can be a guy in the rotation. Hopefully.
I'm hoping so too.
Because they're banking on all the guys we haven't seen yet. They're banking on him. They're banking on Ruka. So these guys better show. And Troy Anderson. You know, that guy gonna stay healthy.
Yeah,
he's too cute with the picks, man. Too cute.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one of the things that I will say that I would like to see Terry Fontenot get better at. Sometimes you just have to just make the play that's in front of you.
Right.
Go ahead and make the pick that's in front of you.
You know who he could have had?
What?
A guy named Nick Benito. Now nobody knows anybody on that Broncos defense. Guy got 30 sacks already.
Wow.
No, we got a dude who's played 9 games last year.
What number is he for the Broncos? I remember he gave us some hell last year.
But that's the guy that and he went a few picks after. We had to go with the kid from Montana. I mean, like, what the?
Yeah,
too cute.
Yeah, like,
too cute.
Yeah, sometimes that smartest man in the room syndrome. Right. You know, it happens to all of us sometimes. But when you a GM for a professional team, you cannot have that happen again and again.
Okay, so now the Marshall kid, right? Who would you rather have us pick with this pick this year? I'm gonna tell you who I think after you.
Well, I mean, you want Mykel Williams?
Yeah, I want a Georgia Bulldog.
And now Georgia players never give you the stats that really translate, but they always come to the NFL and they kick ass. So could Mykel Williams be that guy that, because, you know, on this offense, and this defense are going to have him drop back, which drives you crazy. But, you know, but can he be that guy? Or is it Mike Green, you know, from Marshall by way of UVA?
I think it's Troy.
What about Pierce from Tennessee? You know, then, of course, you know, we may go offensive tackle because we got to protect Penix Jr.
You definitely.
I'm not a fan of McGarry going backwards.
Oh, he loves McGarry. He loves him.
When he goes beep, 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 bad things happen. It's good.
Oh, yeah, he loves McGarry.
Let me say this.
He loves McGarry.
I want to see us get Malachi Starks.
Okay.
I think that'd be dope. If we can't get one of
then you're on that second tier edge rusher. Leonard Floyd's a pro. He'll be solid. Yeah. Leonard Floyd will be good to go.
Yeah.
And hopefully, look, this is a contract year for Ebba Katie. Can Ebba Katie be a double-digit guy, or is this as good as it gets?
Yeah.
Carl and I always debate, what's the ceiling? I think we've already seen it with Ebba Katie. But the other guys are going to have to pop. But I still think Carl and I agree, they got to go edge. It's got to be edge rusher.
You got to build that room.
And you go there's a corner out at Kentucky in the second round. I'm a nerd, man. I do a lot of mock drafts. But, yeah, we'll go get our corner in the second, and that's it. Or we trade down. We never trade down.
I think we should trade down and get more picks.
We don't.
Because Kirk Cousins costs us picks, you know?
There's a lot of mock drafts where we trade down. The Browns come up in the second round to get in the first. We'll see. But we never do it. I'd like that idea. Get more picks.
I don't think Terry's going to do it.
All right, so the address is Caleb. We call him, in the beginning of the year, when Watt just thrashed him, we called him Caleb Coleslaw McGarry.
Yeah, because I said he was the side no one wants.
He did get tripped, unfortunately, by Lindstrom, but it was him who gave up the sack, which jacked up Cousins, which basically derailed the season down in New Orleans.
So what I'm just trying to say is after that, he had a decent season. Mm-hmm. He got it together.
No, he's a solid tackle.
Yeah, so
But you protect you. He's down the blind side. He's got to protect him.
We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
Otherwise, because if you have to have a tight end standing next to him, that defeats the purpose. I mean, he's got to be able to do it. We want to have all the weapons downfield on third down.
So my thought process on McGarry has been this. I don't feel like we can take one part of a season and say that is him now. I think you have to take his whole body of work.
Right. He's a good run blocker.
Yeah, he is. Very good run. But his body of work has shown that he struggles in pass blocking. And now you want to make him be the number one protector for your quarterback, a quarterback who has suffered
2 knee injuries.
Yeah, this the guy that you want to put your faith in. And I don't know. I just think it's pie in the sky. Could he prove me wrong? Of course. You know what I mean? My wife could come home tomorrow and I'd be a billionaire. So anything could possibly happen. You know what I'm saying? But the likeliness of it happening in that short time, I just don't see it. I don't see McGarry changing that quick.
But remember, guys, the combine, we're all going to talk to defensive players. That was just for the fans.
They
that was window dressing.
We
You're going to talk to everybody. So even if we're just talking to tackles, because there's supposed to be a bunch of tackles going where we pick, so maybe that's just bait to get somebody to come up and grab a tackle.
Okay.
And that's fine. Or maybe we grab a tackle. It won't be popular, but then those guys you drafted the last 3 years better be good.
Yeah. Play the game the correct way.
All right. Well, I want to take it over here, man. I got a bone to pick with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. I want to talk about the Hawks.
Okay, let's
And I
hear
want to talk
her.
about our Frenchman, man, Zachary Richard.
Okay, shout out to Zach, man. He's been playing really well. Yeah.
Play ball, Lisa.
Shout out to Zach.
So, Mike, I always say, man, I think Zach's gonna be an all-star. I think he's gonna be somebody good.
You say he's gonna be great.
I say he's gonna be great, and I will continue to say. He's like, why do you think that?
Yeah.
I said, man, I say he puts in the work, Trey. He puts in the work. I just, he said, how do you know he puts in the work?
That's my thought.
How do you know he puts in the work?
He's doing
And I
the
said,
work.
because I see stuff on Instagram. I see this and that. I see him shooting with Trey. I see him going places, and I can just tell by his energy. He just seems like he's a gym rat.
What's your beef with the French dude?
I don't have a beef with him. My beef is with him saying that he can see the guy's work. All you see is the Instagram. Hold up. You just said your piece.
I didn't get a chance.
All you see, or all he sees, is somebody on Instagram with Trey. It's been other players who put in the same work. How do you know that's going to translate?
Man.
Hold on. How do you know that's going to translate into him being great? That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm not saying he won't be great, but you haven't seen it to say for a fact that he can.
Okay, so I watch him, and I see what I say. Hey, Trey, his threes are gonna start falling. When they do, watch what happens.
Okay, so let me ask you
I said this from the day one.
But let me ask you this: did you see his work to know that his technique was changing to make his threes fall? The answer is no. You did not.
No, time out. He's getting better. The book on him was he was going to have to get better with his jump shot.
He is.
And he's getting better. But the thing is, he's going for, how many guys going for 30? I think the problem we always get into, it becomes like this zero-sum argument, right? We should have gotten the big man. Initially, I thought Sarr was the play.
Thought Sarr,
but both guys can be good.
Yeah.
And Sarr, can be good for we still need one of those big white guys with no vowels in his name. We got to get a big true five.
Oh, yeah. Trey finally put that out there when they played for
We need that. We need somebody with bolts in his neck, like, I am Victor, get boys, rim protector. But, as far as Risachet, I think you see him getting better each week.
You do.
And Trey, as Trey's become like a leader, being the veteran now, takes him under his wing, he's going to be fine. He's getting better. I think, I don't know, he's putting the work in every day. You see him over at the Emory Center putting it in.
So your boy.
Yeah, so you see him at the Emory Center.
Hold on, let me talk.
He does.
Let me talk. So my boy, Bob Rathman, confirmed it last night.
Okay.
He said, Richard Shea is the first in the gym and the last to leave.
Okay.
Just like I thought.
So guess what? Now, there you go. You finally told the truth, just like you what?
Just like I thought.
Thought, not knew.
But let me
and
tell
my
you
whole point has been you don't know.
Mike, let me tell you
think.
this. The Hawks right now, I'm not saying that they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I will say this. I like the pieces they got and it's gelling, and I think they can get past the play-in. I think they can get past the first round, and I think the second round they can give them a hard time.
Can I raise my hand on that?
No, they got no shot in the second.
That's what I said. Second round.
They've got no shot.
Yeah.
Can
I raise my
No, they got no shot in the first round.
Yeah,
I think we do. I disagree.
They got no shot.
I disagree.
Okay, hold on.
I'm tell you why.
Just did to us. Anybody with a front court just smokes us.
And so
I'll give you the reason.
So look, Mike, this is my thing that I try to get across to my partner right here.
I disagree.
He's saying he see great things.
I do.
But, okay, how many games? What's the Hawks' record over the last 6 games?
They lost like 3 games.
They lost 4.
Oh, well, my bad. I won off.
Okay,
Excuse me.
So what
I
I'm
missed
saying,
that game.
So what I'm saying is,
We should have won.
What I'm saying is, you're coming in with these proclamations of what's going to happen, but you have to look at what's actually happening on the court.
But also,
And so,
what about since the All-Star break? What's the record?
Look, I want them to win. But they still haven't turned that corner.
But
Trust
you
me.
think the Dallas game, we lost at the last. We got a buzzer beater.
All 3
so
of
you
us.
can't really count that.
Trey doesn't have Trey doesn't have a Robin for his Batman for this playoff run.
I agree.
Without Jalen, no, you had Jalen Johnson. And that's they don't.
I'm not saying we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, guys. I'm just saying we're going to win the first round.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
You're saying you hope,
but we can't
No,
beat the
I'm telling
Magic
you.
right now. Wagner and Banchero have been eating our lunch the last couple
you
days.
you remember the year back in the day?
you don't even know if the Hawks going to win the play-in.
Can I talk?
I don't even know if they're going to win the play-in.
Can I talk? This is
to
what I'm
be
trying to tell
perfectly honest.
you. Do you remember when the Hawks
I don't
killed the
know.
Milwaukee Bucks all them years?
Yes.
And then in the playoffs we lost to them? That can happen.
Well, Trey
I think we gelling, man. At the right time.
Trey can take over a series like he did against Charlotte a couple years ago, and he did when Cleveland was getting good.
Yeah.
But the problem now, as we said, he just doesn't have that supporting cast. They double team Trey. It was just like the Heat a couple years ago. That's why they got DeJounte.
They just beating Trey up. They're just a double team.
Y'all mark my words. We're going to win the first round.
Listen,
That's all I
You gonna beat the Celtics in the first round?
All
right, give me some loot on that.
I'm trying to tell you,
me
man.
that first C note on
How you know
that.
we're playing the Celtics? For sure.
This ain't 2008 with Zaza, and even then we went 7. We still didn't win.
Hey, look, I'm gonna stick by my word. We're gonna win the first round.
All right, that's it.
I don't even know if the Hawks are gonna make it to the first round out the play-in.
I appreciate his enthusiasm.
I'm trying to tell you. And so look, Mike, this is why. Look, Zach, I don't have a problem with you. I don't doubt Zach Richardson. I don't have a problem with him. I'm just saying he can't say with certainty
You're a hater.
that Zach is turning the corner. That Zach.
So do you think Zach's gonna be great?
You don't think he's better? Don't you think he's better?
No, what I'm saying is he's talking about. I see he's doing the work. How do you see he's doing the work?
I just can see.
Maybe he's clairvoyant.
Yeah, I
because
can
he's got this faith.
I can see.
Magic 8 Ball says we're being the Celtics.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the 4-4.
We need to take this guy to Atlantic City tonight, man. Let him win us some money, man. That positivity, roll the dice.
I appreciate your positivity.
Hey,
this place as it is.
He said we were winning the Super Bowl this year. He said we broke the curse. Look, so the same way I did the rhyme about the 28-3.
6-3.
So look, the same way I did the rhyme about the Super Bowl we lost, the 28-3. He had me put one together about us breaking the Atlanta curse, and he said on this show,
I'm gonna tell you
week in and week out, and said the curse was broken to every guest and anyone that would listen.
Okay, let me
and
talk.
at the end of the season, how do you feel now?
Okay, I feel like we were the 2015 Falcons, and now we're going to be the 2016. We're going to make it and win it. That's what I feel. We broke. We just was a year late. I mean, a year too early.
Okay.
I feel like
I believe
our offense is going to do good.
It's going to be just like 16 because we're going to have to score about 30 points a freaking game as this defense gets its ish together.
Yes, and I think if we draft the right rookies that can come in like we did in 16,
right,
we might can do something.
So look, let me ask you this question though. Why
Watch out, we're cutting into Steaks time here. Steaks coming up next.
let me ask you this because I don't know if you know you may have seen one of our clips or not. We did an episode about athletes who have catfished their organizations, and I named Peerless Price as one of the people who catfished the Atlanta Falcons. Peerless Price came on our post. He had some choice words. He told me I was a clown. He got upset about it, which I'm not upset about that. He's entitled. So what I want to ask you is, can you tell us some situations or instances where you've had to have the tough discussion with the athlete who may have taken exception to something you said?
Well, it was 2 years ago, and the Hawks were struggling. We were talking about the leadership thing and Trey taking over the team, and he had a nice win. I always CC Trey when I'm going to talk about an athlete if he's got a social media account. And I was like, hey man, great effort, more like that. Trey comes back, I don't work for you, ho. So that was like, oh, okay. Trey just called me a ho on social media, and then it had T-shirts, and I was like, well, I'm going to get some of that action, But no, and we still haven't gotten Trey in studio. I'd love to hash it out, because I just thought, like everybody else in the league, there's a maturity thing, and eventually the light clicks on. I think Trey's in full mode now. He's a leader on that team. He takes ownership of stuff, and at that time, I think that was still a work in progress.
Hey, that's hilarious.
That's about it. I mean, I used to dog Matt Ryan. I wrote this big blog in 15, and I said, Falcon, at the time there was a possibility Deshaun Watson was going to come out, but he stayed another year at Clemson. I said, we got to just get rid of Matt Ryan. He's never going to win the big one, and let's go get Deshaun Watson, do what we got to do, move heaven and earth. And then Matt goes on and becomes MVP, and we nearly win the Super Bowl. Yeah. So we were in the playoffs, and that was right before we were leaving for Houston. And I went to Matt. Not that Matt gave a crap, but he's a good dude. But I said, hey Matt, I just want to say I'm so sorry. I totally had it wrong, and totally dissed you. And obviously you put in you have a great season, and so you apologize. I said the same thing to Shanahan at the Super Bowl because I was killing Shanahan in 15. We just signed Kyle Shanahan, and that was right when he lost his briefcase and had the game plan.
Yeah,
everybody was freaking out. Me and Carl. So yeah, you own it. Look, I think if you can get to some of these guys, I used to say to Carl, these guys don't give a crap. And Carl has always said on Dukes and Bell, no man, these guys hear everything.
Yeah,
and they do. So yeah, I mean, like with Grady, I always felt Grady was miscast in a 4-3 into a 3-4. I never thought Grady fit in this defense.
Yeah,
you better have a big dude next to him, and
Grady could really eat in.
I think Grady. Last time I saw Grady, he was like, I'm like, okay, Grady's not going to say hi to me now, but we love Grady. He's the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah,
but you can't sugarcoat it. You got to tell it like it is.
Yeah.
So for Trey Young, what we got to do?
Got to get him a star.
Who do you think we're going to get?
That's the problem because all these guys, we don't need to go get some $55 million buster like Paul George was for the Sixers this year. I think it's not going to be names. I think it's not going to be sexy. I don't like the Hawks front office. I thought DeJounte was a disaster, but Dyson Daniels was great. Getting Karis LeVert in here was a nice piece. We got a good bench, but let's not let it go. Now we got a good bench. Let's keep
build on it.
We never built on the 2021 conference championship team.
No.
If Trey doesn't get tangled with the ref, we probably could have beat those Bucks. Who knows? I know we could have beat the Suns that year. So let's see Tony Wrestler, and this is the catch-22. It's like the chicken and the egg. Yeah. We never get into those aprons, and no one understands the salary cap. It's confusing as hell. Yeah. But we have got to spend some money. We got to maximize this, and it may be worker bees. Maybe you get a big center, because I think Okongwu is solid, but he needs help down low.
Definitely.
He's getting better and better. But you need to get another wing. I think we're okay at the backup point, but we've just got to be able to load some pieces in here, and maybe it's going to be just worker bees. Maybe it's not going to be sexy. But, man, Jalen Johnson is the Scottie Pippen to his Jordan. But he's got to stay on the floor, man.
The health.
And Wrestler at some point's got to spend some loot, because fans don't want to hear about it.
Nah, not anymore.
We got to spend some loot. This isn't about developing, Atlanta Centennial Yards. This ain't about real estate like the Braves. This is about winning.
Yeah,
let's put some money in.
It's about putting the winner on the court.
When we traded John Collins, we got a trade exception, and they kept talking about.
They never used it.
So we wasted it.
I think because it comes and goes. You had a year to use it. So
we just traded John Collins for nothing.
Basically nothing. Just like when we let Al Horford go. Remember that? Al walked for nothing. Yeah. So you got to be aggressive.
Front office has always been a problem.
There's a period of time for the exemption to use it towards your cap. And John Collins should have traded they should have traded John Collins 3 years before. Bring DeAndre Ayton in. Maybe he won't be such a wuss over here. I don't know. Well, just do something. Change it up, because John Collins' ceiling was here.
Yeah.
What do you think? I like the
By the way, John Collins screwed me out of freaking 5 large, man. You know that story?
No, please share.
We got to get out of here.
Okay.
I bet the Hawks over under the year he got the suspension.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then he got
I needed 35.5 wins. I placed $5,000 at Caesars, and I've told the story on the radio a million times. And the girl goes, "Ooh, I like this bet," because everyone who works in the casino is a degenerate gambler. And so they got to take it from but it's a large number. They got to get the pit boss, or the boss comes in. He goes, 5 large on the Hawks on a prop bet. He goes, "Oh, I like that." I said to my wife, I go, "See? Because I won like some big loot playing craps. I'm going to put it on the Hawks." So we're going to redo the bathroom. And then John Collins gets suspended 25 games because he wants to have shoulders like Dwight Howard.
Man. Come on, John.
Never, ever bet the over-under on the Hawks win total. Take it from Uncle Mike. If you learn nothing from this podcast, never bet on the Hawks.
And come on, John Collins.
and the mic drop.
And the mic drop.
Man, good times, man.
Look. I did one last question. Yeah. Give us a favorite sports play and a favorite Atlanta sports play, Atlanta sports moment. Break it down for it. Describe it. Something that just really just lit the fire that you just loved and will always stick with your memory.
There's so many. I mean, actually, if the Falcons is not a lot, But in the case of, for me, of all the Atlanta sports memories I've had, sitting in the end zone when Roddy White beats Richard Sherman in that playoff in the divisional round, and then basically gets right in Sherman's face, and he's talking shit, and it's the best because it was right there. Because everyone, Richard Sherman was the good guy. We know he's a good dude, but back then he's kind of the guy in the black hat. He's the bad guy talking that shit. But I love Roddy White, and to me, that's one of my favorite moments. To see that big, as we're going to the next round, and and the Georgia Dome was electric. But if I had one, probably be Vic coming back from the injury in 2003.
Well, was that the game against the Panthers?
He plays Carolina.
Yeah, the night game.
And he hadn't played, and then Mike comes out of the tunnel with no helmet and just sits there and stands there, and the crowd. I still get goosebumps, and the crowd just goes friggin' ape. And then Mike comes out and he gets the win. He basically levitates for 5 yards, diving for the end zone.
I remember that.
And we beat the Panthers. Yeah,
I remember
that one. And there's one that's not sports related. That would be when Bone Crusher did the halftime show
and he took his shirt
sang
off.
The unedited, not family friendly version of "I Ain't Never Scared." And people on the sideline, it's like people are like, "Whoa, he's going there!" And it was unbelievable, man. It was like, man. I always say, if you bring back Bone Crusher with Frisbee Dogs, that'd be the greatest halftime show ever.
That's
Arthur Blank.
Frisbee Dog.
Hey, look. Arthur Blank aged about 10 years doing that performance. Bone took his shirt off. He was full-fledged. Let me tell you, last year we were at a game. I forget which team we were playing. I want to say KC. Fan behind was just talking so much trash. F the Falcons this, the Falcons that, whichever game it was. Bone comes out and perform. They have him perform. Bone Crusher perform. He goes nuts. Oh my God, it's Bone Crusher. He just turned into like a little schoolgirl right there behind. I'm just laughing like, man, that is too funny.
You actually, I'm giving you like 6, but I mean, I'll still go with Roddy just because that was so cool. But I might, maybe Mike in the tunnel might be one. And also when Acuna hit the grand slam against the Dodgers. Even we didn't win that series, but you knew we were coming up. The Braves were on their way up. That was tight.
Man, that's awesome.
I like the fact that you're from New York and you're a big Atlanta.
Yeah, man. Look,
you've been here long.
I've been here 20. This is 27 years from here, man. This is home. It's not like going back home. This is home.
Well, I want to say, man, that it's an honor.
Hey, no, it's
for you
great
being on here.
Appreciate you coming on.
And much respect.
For the
Mike
record, they
Bell,
said
we
this was going to be
appreciate
10 minutes. We did 45.
This guy said it was gonna be 10 minutes.
I told him.
That's how we do.
Ask Carl. You can't keep me. You can't control me for 10 minutes. At least I know I talk too much.
Let me say this for everybody. Mike Bell's a liar. So if you ever don't believe him, he knew what's up.
He definitely said, he just said it by mistake. He said 10 minutes. You said it. You said
I told him, I said, there's no way we're going to be 10 minutes.
You said it. You just didn't realize you said it.
I said 110.
No. You said we're going to be done at 12:10.
Oh.
And it was like 12 o'clock. That's why we were both like
I looked at
10 minutes.
I go, she. I go, listen, have you ever heard the radio program before, sir?
Have you never heard my show? You never seen my work before?
I'm a liar.
Steak will tell you he's coming up on your next podcast. My motto is more of me, more of me.
So I know. Tell me about your start. And did we talk about this on air?
No, we talked about
Talk about how you got in Steak and how that was a part.
No, man, I got kicked out of FSU. I was a bartender in New York, and I was at a turntable at the end of the bar. This little guy came in the bar. He goes, "Wow, you ever do any radio?" I go, "Who are you?" He goes, "My name's Eddie Simon." His brother was Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon, and I got hired to this little top 40 station in the Hamptons, like Lifestyles that are Rich and Shameless back then. Yeah. That's how I got into radio. And by the time I was in Fort Myers, there was an opening at the old 790 here in town, and then Steak. They brought me up. They had like 500 guys sent tapes in, and I was one of the final 5. And they brought me in for the live audition, and I got it. And I thought I got it. We do the show. We had some fun. We're partying all night. We're the old Leopard Lounge on 13th. It don't exist anymore. And I'm in the back of Steak's convertible. We made some friends. Steak was going through a divorce. It was a strange time in Steak's life. And I was like, hey, man. I go, maybe a bad time. I go, did I get the job? I got some Delta flight attendant with me. I can't say stewardess anymore. And he's like, Steak's like, oh, yeah, you got the job. Give notice when you get down there. We want you to start as soon as possible. And that was the summer of 1998. And I've been stuck in Atlanta you guys have been stuck with me, I should say. And thanks for everybody's supporting me and keeps me on the radio for 27 years.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad
Great storyteller.
made the right
I know he was a great storyteller.
Oh yeah. Well, we appreciate it, Mike. Thank you so much.
Good times, man.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
Everybody, y'all give it up for the great Mike Bell. Yep, man, from the number one show in Atlanta.
You see why?
Number 1 in Georgia on 92.9 The Game. Dukes and Bell.
Get some of that.
Dukes
some of that,
and
man.
Bell.
Get some of that mojo.
How many times you gonna dap him up? I take it.
I said rub some of the
I take the number 1.
Yeah.
I take it. I take it. But yeah, the Dukes and Bell show. Y'all check out Mike Bell, Carl Dukes, man. They both have shown us a lot of love, man. And hey, on that note, we always tell y'all we represent Atlanta because Atlanta represents us. So on behalf of myself, Trey, my partner B Rich, Mike Bell, and Aaron Whoa Pittman, the Waterboyz show, we are out.
Kill the camera.